Hi, I'm D.G. Wilson, author and artist. Recently talking about my book, The Parts and Foops in the Blend, The Parts and Foops Introduction, and more. Now here, this book is for older people, my tattoo customers. The Devil and the Masterpiece, written and illustrated by D.G. Wilson. Let's take a look at it now. Like I said, dedicated to my family and my masterpieces. The Devil and the Masterpiece. My cousin had recently perished. We weren't close at the all. If it had not been for his grand estate and loyal lawyer, I would not have known. As in most of these cases, so which I have heard, there is a timely limit as to which one can arrive to claim such prize. Through letter my cousin's lawyer implied that there was even more to haste to stop on the buy. It was a necessary thing for paper and law, to which I understood. If I had delayed, he would have claimed it all. So on a train barreling towards the east at a clipping rate, I try to put down my journey and thoughts of my mental state. To my young dear wife and our children, when they are of age to read and understand this ledger, I ask you to forgive me for this journey forever. Had it not been for time of life and my stage, I would have you all in my arms in a hurry. But for the sake of family and several accounts, I must take this route to our future riches and my cousin, the Count. Deep in the dark of pre-morn, I stepped off the train and stood warned. My plight had been very tight. I was stern and had to learn that not a room was available that night. Off the tracks and in forest a bit, I made a simple camp with ample fire that was fit. I was warmed and without desire. Then came, like shadows of the trees, many men and few women to me. They gathered about my fire as moth to flame, skittering, talking, and almost skipping. They began the chattering. From them, long into the night, I learned much to be of fright. My cousin, it seems, was unkindly and evilly. Still I sat, listened to this and that. During the cold night, I missed your arms and loving kisses. But then while I sit, dreams were dashed in an almost instant. One man drunk and without wits began to hum a bit. It was catchy and full of tune. I asked him from where it was heard. Another answered the absurd. From your cousin, of course, we all know his name and fortune. But the only thing he gave us was his torture. Then he had sung. To me the melody was sweeter than honey. The tune lilted, lifted, deep into the world the darkness seemed to unfurl. I was mesmerized. My eyes could not see, but deep in my mind what seemed like memory sprang freely. I could see my cousin there before me as if unknowing that I was a being. With his back turned, I saw a devil facing him and ready for a gamble. But this was not the regular game that I usually fear. Losing one's money and gaining only shame was too good to be true for this vision here. My soul shuddered as I began to determine that the fire vermin of which my cousin spoke and talked of games was none other than that of most legend of evil folk. The words hung, deeper meaning with which I was stung. How could this hummer know from where I had come? It was interesting to see that the singer had not the idea of meaning. Still he sang clearly, and my spine felt weary. This is the lyrics as near as I can remember. playing cards with the devil, dealing hands as if I'm not evil, having to deal with life as simple, as long as everyone knows I'm going to make enemies fall to their knees before me and tremble. Oh, my soul is tarred in sin, luckily I just got a masterpiece in. Keep that devil from within, stay safe and save yours and the souls of your kin. I sat at the small wooden table, the devil smiled across from me, but my hand was stable. Again I queried as to where he had happened upon the airy. The simple man and guide made a sign of the nigh, and only smiled on the sly, which made me begin to believe that I was there in a lie. Finally I arrived to wake from slight sleep, and set at dawn to find the lawyer. The next morn he was indeed a hider, who would undoubtedly burn in hell's fire. Not could he believe that I was there before he thought I was off my girder. Eventually we got down to the larder, and I found it harder and harder not to have a fit of laughter. It seemed that the old man last night, without tooth, had story of my cousin indeed been of truth. I was given key, though reluctantly, from the lawyer and cousin's friend, the only in the land to fend. That night I sat uptight, on bed from cousin that fled. Isabel's no one knew where for so long that the lawyer feared dead. I sat on the dusty bed and wondered where this journey led. Still it was early, and I surly, so I stalked about quietly. I sought for soothing, as I'm known for doing when I'm stewing. Finally I found a Jerry of a library. There were books of all kinds, especially of natural hazards, and those too of the obscene, the unseen. There were volumes and series that were scary enough to turn you blue. First of spirits, then fairy. Finally they ended in books that were not for many. Demons and cauldrons were abound, but that is when my heart ceased to pound. For I began to find scriptures of nature and other leisure. That is when I started to look about one of badgers and foxhounds, when I noted that there was another behind the measure. With shaky hand I found a book especially dusty. I blew off the webs of cob and found a musty book funnily written in sloppy manner. Instantly I recognized the hand, stepped off the library ladder. The pages were brittle and not read easily. I saw it was a diary my cousin had written recently. I skipped the end where the ink was not merely. There I found a last passage that was simply addressed to me, Charlie. Then I realized that this hand had not been sloppy, but that my dear cousin had written hurriedly. There were even quick sketches to which he drew nicely. I have taken the pages and book and put them together with this letter secretly, with the pocket knife you gave me for my 40th birthday. Read this and discover for me what I have missed about this, only to be said, if you were to find me also dead. Charlie. I walked in the night. Rain and cold swept about me with might. I stopped under a stoop, scooped up the last of my troop. If only I had been with them, I would have been able to fight. Then just off to my right I felt the cold evil, yet it was burning hot and definitely not from a steeple. The devil glared at me. I shut my eyes so I couldn't see, reaching into jacket pocket, my hand on the last hope of thee. Then calmly I said, care for a game, my friend? Yellow bent, a deck of cards in my pocket I found. Again I said, care for a game of chance, you hound? The devil sneered and questioned if my mind was sound. He said, in poker, I will pound. I took the hint but didn't care a bit. The world swirled around, turned fuzzy, then upside down, then sharply I found. I sat at table in spare room with the evil hound, snorting and laughing as my heart did pound. Laying cards out evenly I dealt, hoping for not a pit. Maybe I can stall and get out of this? The small wooden table in empty room by the stables was unable to keep his heat from me. The beast cooked me like meat on a spit. Still I sat there, without sweat, while my clothes smoldered a bit. The devil smiled across from me, I drew 3, and relaxed. My hand was stable. I said, I bet you, demon, and his eyes screamed I wasn't able. My soul was to be the gamble. I wanted to bolt from the table, but knew if I was able, the devil would still be there. And there. Where? Everywhere. I held my cards to my heart, thinking this was just a fable, but the devil only said that he was feeling that my hand would not give the tangible. I said with as calm as I could muster, again I call thee, eyes blazing, dancing and screaming. The devil laid his hand out face up on the table. Card by card, my soul was dying. Though I was smiling. The darkness was watching deeply into my soul to see if I would stumble. I hardly frowned at his victory in my tumble. Felt I had the devil in my hands, all comfortable, so I was thinking. But when his hands stared back at me, I felt my soul start to scream. Then a strange feeling came stealing. Slowly and warmly, I began glowing. Something deep inside me said to lay my cards freely. With cards face up on table, a devil started to scream heavily at me. I began to hum a made-up tune from my head, feeling the devil was to be dead. Playing cards with the devil, dealing hands as if I'm not evil. Having to deal with life is simple as long as everyone knows. I'm going to make enemies to fall to their knees before me and tremble. Oh, my soul is tarred in sin. Luckily, I just got a masterpiece in. Keep that devil from within. Stay safe and save the soul of your kin. I sat at the small wooden table. The devil smiled across from me, but my hand was stable. I thought back warmly to a man called DG. See, luckily, very recently, I had assured my victory. My life had been rough. I finally had enough of all the bad stuff. My past sins didn't sit right with me, so I asked my friends before me. My enemy is the devil, all things evil. What can I do to change my scene? That is why my people, of which I thought kindly, said to see DG. A masterpiece is what you need. His work is not feeble. DG will place a seed that will grow until you are freed. It was enough for me. I had course set sail to find this fabled male. At private secret place I told him my tale. With light at his back like a halo, I could tell he would not fail. And with skill he made me look so good I felt as strong as nails. I set out, secure in my plight. Still, the devil found me that very night. Caught tight in the smite, I stood still, almost with fright. So does his masterpiece help him? Gotta read the book. The Devil and the Masterpiece, written and illustrated by D.G. Wilson. Thank you.